Greetings, gardeners. We're heading towards the middle of July, and what's new at Bill's house? Ha! Well, the remnants of Tropical Storm Barbara are past us now. They left 5 inches of rain in the last 2 days, so it's been pretty wet. I haven't been out in the garden very much, mostly inside hanging tall racks and doing such. But the storm did kind of push my bean poles over here as it came in. The ground's soft, the rain was heavy, and it kind of hammered things down. But that's the least of my worries, because I am so delighted with these green beans. Growing green beans in Hawaii can be challenging, at least right here where I live in Puna. That's a problem. Most of my favorite varieties from the mainland, like Vortex, one of my favorite green beans, it just really refuses to fruit well here at all. By the time it produces much, it is already dying from local diseases and such. I'm not even sure exactly everything that attacks the green bean here, but they don't do well, that's for sure. This one, though, is Poa Moho. Poa Moho, P-O-A-M-O-H-O, Poa Moho. It's a Hawaiian variety from the University of Hawaii, out of their breeding program, and no, it's not genetically engineered, okay? It's just a green bean. In fact, it's open pollinated, non-hybrid, okay? But this plant appears almost completely resistant to the diseases that attacked all my other green beans here. And it turns out that the beans, which are, you can see them in here, there's a couple. The beans are at least as good as Blue Lake. I'd rate them up against Blue Lake. They're stringless, have a nice mild flavor. They don't enlarge too fast. They do become a bit broader if you let them on the vine for a while and begin to resemble like a aroma, like an Italian green bean. A little bit. It's sort of a flattened pod. It's not very round. But it's a real good pod, and boy, I'm telling you, any green bean that produces around here and does it like this one is awesome in my book. There's a little bit closer view of the vines. Very prolific. See, no diseases, only issues at all other than the storm pushing them over a little bit. Was the classic rose beetle junk. Let's see here. There we go. See right here. The rose beetles will chew on them, but even the rose beetles aren't eating these vines to the extent that they have eaten my other green beans in the past. And over here you see my smiley, friendly sunflowers. Beans are also climbing into them. They're going to make an unbearable mess, but as the sunflower heads ripen, I guess I'll just take the leaves off them and use them as secondary bean poles here. If anything, it's possible the sunflowers help the beans stay up in the storm by planting them together like that. But when it started to go over, they appear to have stopped where the beans were clinging to the sunflower stalk, so that's all good. And right over here, you'll see all this whiteness. If you'll recall, some time ago I was overjoyed about the fact that I could grow parthenocarpic cucumbers, the greenhouse forcing cucumbers, under floating row cover here because they did not need bees to set fruit. Well, it worked out so well, I decided to improve things a bit. And last time I did this, I laid the cucumbers out on the garden and used hoops of wire with the row cover over the top. This time I improved things a bit by driving a few fence posts right here and put up some pig wire that I had left over from the fencing project. And I'm going to grow the cucumbers up the wire so that they'll hang down, stay straighter, stay off the ground, and it's going to be a little easier for me to pick them because I won't have to go tiptoeing through the vines to find the cucumbers. Now they'll be hanging on the fence. So taking a look under the fence here, you'll see that I got some nice little cucumber plants here. I just got floating row cover over the top, and I stuck a few sweet onion plants in between, hopefully acting as kind of a repellent for something maybe. but whatever, I just happened to have them around. But I just took the field here after killing the straw. Went ahead and laid down some chicken manure, put a little compost over the top, and plopped in parthenocarpic cucumber plants. And I am using Katrina with a K and Socrates. Right over here, you see, I have another piece of floating row cover. I have a surprise underneath. Look! I got cantaloupes! Now these are going to require us to go in here, and we're going to have to hand pollinate these little guys because they don't have parthenocarpic cantaloupes. That doesn't exist. So this is going to require us doing a bit of brush work. If there's anybody out there who is familiar with varieties of parthenocarpic melons, like watermelons, cantaloupes, honeydews, please let me know, because I've never run across them. So I have been changing out my lettuce planters in the front yard. This is Butter Crunch, which was Ellen's choice. Previously I had done romaine and deer tongue. They worked all right. But in this climate, the romaine seemed to get a little bit bitter for some reason. Previous to that, I had done pretty well with panacea, a form of salad bowl. But we'll see how the Butter Crunch works out. One of the popular lettuces here on the island is Manoa, which is actually a form of Butter Crunch. Anyway, the reason I moved everything around out here is because I finally got around to setting up a fish pond. We're using a 300-gallon Rubbermaid stock tank. I am feeding it from our roof. Right there, it's coming off the gutters from the roof. And we just got 5 inches of fresh rain from Barbara, so it's nice clean water in there. The other pipe on the other side is a siphon. That's for overflow. A little white table here is kind of unfinished. This is a plastic table I put in to use for holding bog plants like water iris and fiber optic grass and such. It's going to have to get leveled a little deeper into the pool, and the bog plants themselves will have to get in uniform pots that are wide and low. But they're working. And even happier are the water lilies and the lotus. They're working out really well in here. Here you see the siphon. Well, throughout my life I've had folks tell me that, Bill, you're a lucky person. You're just such a lucky guy. Well, I don't know. I mean, thank you for the compliments, I guess. But, you know, I really don't per se believe in luck as such. At least I never attempt to use it for anything that's frivolous. I save my luck for like a runaway gas truck on the freeway or something like that. I don't waste it in Las Vegas or on lotteries or anything. So maybe that's why I'm lucky, because I have a lot of it in reserve, you know. I never rely on it. But I'll tell you what, the luck hit me here. I ain't Irish, but whoa. Right here behind the shed, you'll see 2 large trees sticking up. So I get myself right here. One here and one there, right on either side of my head. The one is a mountain apple, and it's bearing just prolifically. It's beautiful yield of mountain apples on that plant this year. I didn't really put it in because I love mountain apples as much as it's a Hawaiian canoe plant. The plant was brought here by the first Hawaiians, and I figure every place around here deserves to have one. I have sort of a small collection of canoe plants here on the property. But the other one, okay, that's a rambutan. Some of you might know what that is. It's a usually red but sometimes yellow fruit that has these bristles around the outside. Looks like a little round scrub brush or something. Inside it's got a nice white flesh that's very delicious. Anyway, rambutan trees are either male, female, or hermaphroditic. They can be any way. So if you plant one from a seed, you really never know what you're going to get. If it's a male, well, all you get is pollen dust that makes you sneeze. If it's a female, well, you get what might have been fruit, but if you haven't got any pollen, it's not going to set either. But if you have a hermaphroditic tree, it makes both male and female flowers on the same tree, and you end up with fruit on one tree. Well, guess what? 12 years ago, not knowing that the trees were dioecious, I went ahead and I put a rambutan seed in a pot and grew it out and then planted it behind my shed. Well, guess what? This year, my rambutan is fruiting, and it's a hermaphrodite. Right there, you can see the rambutans forming. They're all over the tree. But we can also see the male flowers up there too, to a certain extent. But the crop is just beautiful. I'm so excited. 12 years I waited for this. There it is. I did not put this in, like I said, because I love mountain apples. And so in a way, a real good crop like this is kind of a problem because it will fall. The birds will peck at it, knock them all over, and then they'll end up becoming fruit flies, you know. Well, turns out that Tuilani at the Hawaiian food basket, she wants the mountain apples. Now all I gotta do is figure out how in the heck am I gonna get them out of the tree before those birds over there eat them all up. So I do have a problem. Everybody out there likes climbing trees, wants to share some mountain apples, come on by. So there you have what's new for this part of July. We're almost to the middle of the month. Bill's born in the middle of July. I can't wait. I'm going to be 1 year older again. I made another year. Well, not quite. I still have a couple more days to go. Well, all right. Thanks for watching, folks. Aloha, and y'all hang loose.